Have this feeling, haven't felt for so long. Took a hold of me.
Hey again, everybody. Welcome back for day 4 of our functional movement series. If today is the first day that you're joining me, I'd encourage you to go back to day 1, where we practice the basics of 6 typical body movements, including a squat, a hinge, a pull, a push, a carry, and a lunge. We are taking those 6 movements and adding on a little bit of complexity and balance today for day 4. My name is Jen, and I'm glad to have you with me. If you haven't done a little bit of a warm-up before, I'd encourage you to hit the pause button, maybe take 3 or 4 minutes to march in place, go up and down some steps, do some arm circles, because we're gonna get rolling and we're gonna get right into it. So, for day 4, we're gonna start with our body weight squat, just to refresh ourselves. Toes point forward, knees point forward, hips are gonna sink back as we slowly lower our body weight, chest stays tall. Join me for about 15 of these here. The more that we do these movements, the more our brain goes, oh yeah, I remember this, and then it becomes second nature. So my hope is that as we have progressed through these days together, your body has become more and more comfortable moving in different planes of motion and doing these movements. Some options we had earlier were having our toes wider apart, having our toes closer together, squatting with rotation. Let's get 5 more. Today we're gonna add some balance to the mix. Good, 3 more. 2 and 1. 2 options for our squat with balance. We're gonna squat, and if you want to not leave the ground, I'm gonna ask you to come up onto your tiptoes at the top of your squat. So you'll have a little bit of balance in the feet and the ankles. If you are feeling a little feistier today and some higher impact exercise doesn't disagree with you, we're gonna turn this into a jump squat. So join me first. We're gonna do a little bit of squatting with a lift of the heel. Down, up to the tiptoes. Ooh, that adds a different element, doesn't it? Looking good, team. Push up through those heels. You might notice, oh, my core wants to wibble wobble. Stay strong. How are you feeling with coming up on those heels? If you feel like you've got it, can you sneak a little air under your sneakers? Let's go, let's go. Maybe 10 more. Again, this is just an option. You got it, you got it. As we leave the ground, our body has to renegotiate, catch ourselves, work on that balance. 4 more, team. Or you can be up on those tiptoes. 4, 3, 2, 1. Give yourselves a round of applause. Not every day are we just walking around, getting in front of the refrigerator and deciding to jump squat, right? However, those moves might make a sneak appearance sometimes if you need to jump over something. So you never know when you're gonna have a little bit of jumping in your routine. Move number 2 is going to be a lunge. This time adding in a little extra element of balance. We lunged backwards, we lunged kitty corner. Now I'm gonna have us take the same leg, lunge backwards and forwards. So you're gonna feel a little off balance. If you wanna have a hand on the wall or on a bookcase, that works, otherwise hands can certainly be on the hips. Join me when you're ready. I'm gonna start with my right leg. I step forward, we've been here before. I step backwards, we've been here before. We're just putting them together. Notice how my foot is hovering. I'm in a one-legged stance. I shift body weight, I push away. I shift body weight, I push away. You can always tap that toe down in the middle. Your goal is to keep the shoulders tall. The move initiates from your hips. Even though my right leg is the one going forward and backward, my left leg is really taking the move here. Good, let's get 3 more this side. Each time you do it, you're building a little more movement confidence. Last one. Yeah, great work. Feet back together. I like to call this a tick-tock lunge. So I think about my body like a clock. Facing forward, I'm 12 o'clock. Facing behind me is 6 o'clock. So when I lunge, I'm at 12 o'clock, either noon or midnight, 6 a.m. or p.m. You might be watching this in the morning if you're an early bird like me, or maybe you are a night owl, or maybe you prefer your exercise right in the middle of the day. There's no right or wrongs. The goal is just for you to get movement in your day. And by learning movement confidence and feeling more confident with these 6 basic movements, That'll help you go longer, stronger, faster, and maybe your next step will be coming to a group fitness class, adding some weights to your routine. Let's get 3 more. Finding yourself outside. Once you've built on these building blocks, sky's the limit. Last one, team. All right, you made it. Catch your breath. You can always press pause on here. I will be here waiting for you. We're gonna move to our hinge motion. So that's the motion from our hips that allows us to tip and stand. Notice again, I'm not using my back, but I'm using the back side or the posterior side of my core. Yesterday we were in the chair. I'm gonna invite you to use the chair again if you have one close by, or you can just do a body weight squat. When we get to the top, I'm gonna ask you to stand on one leg. Remember, we're adding in our balance component. Up we come. Can you tip? Very good, set her down. I'm standing. I'm tipping just a little bit of a hinge. I'm gaining confidence being on one leg and then shifting my body weight. Doesn't have to be huge. Whoa, maybe hands come out to the front. If you are a person who practices yoga, this might look a little familiar. A little bit of a warrior 3 or airplane. How about this? Can you get all the way up on one leg? Stay on that same leg. Sit down on one leg. Just an option. Remember, these are all options. Not every option is gonna fit for you, but when you challenge your body, it responds back in kind. Let's get 4 more, 2 more each leg. I love what I'm seeing. If you're on both legs and then you shift, that's A-okay. You can come back and watch these videos until you feel like you've got her down. Good, 1 more each side. Last one, are you breathing? Ooh. Sound effects always help. Good job, thank those legs, excellent work. We move from our hinge to our carry. So if you have some dumbbells or water bottles or something else you can hang on to, we are gonna move our hands above our head today. However, if your shoulders bother you when those shoulders are over your head, if that shoulder extension doesn't feel good, we can just keep them right here. Carrying is a basic movement that we take for granted, but when we have things in our hands, every time we move, our body has to renegotiate. So what I'm asking us to do, pick up our weights, bring them overhead, carefully walk. Good, forward or backward, sideways. Again, if this doesn't feel good, don't bring them overhead, they can stay right here. A lot of moving pieces here. You can set them back down, pick them back up and bring them all the way overhead. So when have you maybe had to carry something overhead? Maybe you've had to sneak through a crowd, right? That's this. Your whole body is one long string of balancing. So if you feel like your hips are curving or your back is tilting in, bring those weights right here. This is a challenging move. And again, if your shoulders don't feel good, don't bring your hands over your head. You don't have to. But if it feels okay, I would challenge you to bring that weight all the way overhead. Get yourself stable. So my legs are the stabilizer. My hips are stable, my abs are pulled in, and I'm walking. Yeah, you're doing it. Way to go, team. Can you go around your living room? Let's go for another 10 seconds here. Keep it coming, keep it coming. Maybe it's just one weight overhead, or you have one weight in both hands. I certainly don't want that overhead weight to get in the way of you being able to carry a good posture as you're carrying. When the hands are over the head, the abdominal muscles automatically fire up. Our shoulders automatically fire up to stabilize us. Looking good, here we go. 4, 3, 2, 1. Set those down. Whoo, maybe your back's a little tight. That's one that always can use some work, and you're always able to make that a little more challenging by having a heavier weight or even by climbing up steps while you're carrying something. Safety first, of course, always, but when you have good body awareness and you're able to stack the hips, shoulders, and hands right above each other, you're really gonna build that core strength and that confidence. All right, 2 more moves to go for day 4. We are down to the ground for our push moves. So we do a lot of pushing if we're shutting a drawer, shutting a car door, anything that involves us pushing ourselves away from something or something away from us, that is gonna be a push motion. If you're a stomach sleeper and you push yourself up out of bed, That's a pushing motion. So come on down to the floor with me. We added rotation yesterday. Today we're gonna have a little bit of balance, a little bit of single arm size. So knees or toes, or again, you can be on the wall. Not only is it a plank up, but it's gonna be a walking, not only is it a push up, but it's gonna be a plank and it's gonna be a walking plank. I'm gonna drop down to my elbows. Doable, right? Comfy. What if I push myself back up? All that body weight's on one side. I have to balance and negotiate. Come on down. Ooh. I am pushing away from the floor, but I am also spreading that weight on different joint angles. One arm is up and one arm is down, so my weight is distributed differently. I would encourage you to alternate which arm comes down first. You got this, team. I'm gonna let you know a secret. This is not my favorite exercise, but I know how powerful it makes me feel and how it really mimics some everyday actions. Let's get 4 more. So that's why I do it, because in 20 years from now, I wanna be able to push myself up off the ground. I hope that's your goal too. 2 more, 2 more. Always an option to be up on your toes, of course. Last one, let's get it, let's get it. Woo, nice job. We are moving from our front side to our back side. Our final movement of the day is a pulling motion. So from a pull, I want you to think about yourself like a, somebody who has a string attached to them. And the puppet master, which is you, right? You're your own puppet master, but you're gonna bring yourself up to standing. So we're pulling ourselves up, fighting against gravity, and it's gonna look like this. Do not get frustrated, or you know what? You can get frustrated, but let that frustration then morph into some inspiration. You might be here. All right, I got my backside off the floor. Maybe you get to here. Maybe you get to here. Okay, Jen, you're just showing off. No, come with me. Let's do it. How can I get myself up? How can I create that momentum to pull my body to standing? Very good, come with me. You might look like me, you might be way different. You might have both feet on the floor. You push up from your hands. This is another move that when I work with my personal training clients, they don't love, but the more they do it, they say, you know what, Jen? I'm glad that you encouraged me to do it because I want to live an independent life and I don't want to have to wait on somebody else to get me up. Let's try 4 more. You got them, team. Maybe you're here. And smiling always helps. Ooh, 3 more. Get. Last one, come on. Big push. Yeah, high fives to you. Way to go with those get-ups today. These moves that we've worked on the last 4 days, we're gonna put them into a cardio strength interval workout for day 5. So I can't wait to see you tomorrow.